Hey everybody. I am double checking that the audio is all working properly, and then I could just jump right in and start. Hey everybody. Alright. Let's see what we got. So let's start with the very basics. I am going to plug in Mega EverDrive Pro. And by the way, I got just my Sony DS10 camera in auto mode, so if focus goes all weird on us, sorry about that. But let's just power the sucker on. We'll turn on the monitor. It's running through the Tink 4K CE. I have the Genesis profile loaded, so if anything looks weird, it might be just the wrong profile. But let's start by just playing a Genesis game, right? We'll go Afterburner 2. Alright, so Genesis games look and sound pretty perfect. Minimal vertical jailbar noise. We already did the video analysis tests in this, but it's basically as good as you could expect any analog video output to be. I'm getting some weird glitches here though. I'm not sure what that's all about, but we'll check that out later. So let me power off and back on. And we'll try a Sega CD game. Just for fun, also since it's the letter A, let's try Afterburner. All black. Nothing. This is expected behavior, by the way. I just want to walk through and demo it for anybody who isn't sure. Hey Edward, how you doing? Mog Killer, Elliot, Zombie. What's up everybody? Thank you for swinging by. So I'm also going to go into the options menu, and you know what, let me switch over to the other view for this so you could just see, and I'll switch back when I'm going doing anything to the console itself. So let me just plug this in here. I'm going to keep talking through it so you don't think the feed died, which is, you know, not uncommon for my streams. And it should just pop up now or in a second. Aw, come on, Evermedia. Don't mess with me. Hey, Winterhell. Hey, it'd be more of a surprise if everything actually worked. Which, you know, that's not common. The Avermedia card, though, that's kind of like a known bug where if you switch sources, it could kind of trip things up. But that's not too big of a deal. Alright, well, let me try plugging my camera back in and seeing if it comes back or if I gotta reset everything again. I took out my other capture card. I don't remember why, but obviously that wasn't the greatest idea. Hey, what's up, Tony? Hey, Zez, didn't your ex steal them? Alright, drinking my iced coffee on the rocks. Not exactly the drink I like to be drinking, but you know, it's kind of yummy. All right, so let me plug this back in. We won't do direct capture till later, till I could make sure my Avermedia card a little less finicky. But all right, so in-game menu, I'm going to turn that off because there are sometimes weirdness with that. I'll turn off Mega Key, turn off cheats. Even though we're not playing Master System games, I'm going to turn off the BIOSes. Reset to menus off, last game auto boots off, file sorting is on, warnings are off. So Mega CD options, those are all off. So that should just mean, or warnings are off, so it shouldn't say, hey, this isn't a, you know, compatible game. Per game BRAM and RAM card. I'm just turning everything off just for the heck of it. And that's about it. All right, so now let's go into Sega CD games. Afterburner 3, and we get nothing still. I'm gonna give it a second. Tap the reset button. Nothing. I also just want to prove that this is working, and I actually forgot to ask permission if I could show this, but I don't think he'd be too mad at me. So this may or may not be the production version of Oleg's new Nomad, which is pretty damn incredible, to be honest with you. Looks and sounds amazing. I'm just going to hit start so you know I got the last game booted. You see Sega CD. Okay. So there we go. A fake Top Gun opening. So what I just demonstrated was that the Mega EverDrive Pro is not designed to work with the 32X connected. You can't, for Sega CD games. You can't load standard Sega CD games at all, or just nothing will boot. So now let's go through and let's try the Mega SD. And I'll start it on the Nomad here, just so we could know that we're going to get a solid game loaded here. Once again, I'm in auto mode, so I apologize if this isn't kind of working out right. Uh-oh. Let me reseat it. This is Cousin Scott's Mega SD. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to go into Sega CD and Mega CD, and we'll just do Afterburner again, because why the heck not? US version, loading Afterburner 3. I'm just going to try to skip through this so we can see actual gameplay here. Come on. Here we go. So everything, while you can't quite tell, yeah, let me get it at an angle. Everything is looking and sounding exactly as you would expect. The reason I'm doing this is just to prove that the Mega SD is working fine. All right. No weird glitches. All right. So I will switch over and plug it in here. I will hide the Nomad prototype that I may or may not have supposed to have showed. Honestly though, that one's going to be worth the wait. And let me scroll back up and check the chat. Says, I'm sorry, I never mean to step on you guys' streams. I always try to do it at different times, but I am so limited to the amount of time I get to do these things that sometimes I don't even know I'm going to be streaming until I look at the clock and go, oh damn, I got time to do a stream, and then that's it. So my apologies, Ez, but yeah, I'll make sure to shout up your new stream afterwards. ADHD Arcade, Nomad, you love that thing? Yeah, you just wait. You just wait till the Oleg one, the new one, comes on sale. Elliot, what's this magical Sega CD? We only know of the Mega CD. Mod Killer, it is huge, but it's actually the same exact size as the Virtua Racing cart. So while I like the look of the regular Genesis carts better, at least it kind of feels Sega-y. What's up, Adam? Zombie, that's the Oleg, O-L-E-G. Very awesome guy. He came out with a kit a couple of years ago. Then expected to have 2 years ago. He expected to have them back up for sale, but had problems with the screen and a whole bunch. And it's basically supply chain issues. But he wanted to take the time to kind of do some more cool stuff. So I think it's almost done now, like for real. And as soon as it is, there will be a post and a stream about it, trust me. But yeah, that one's worth waiting for. Not cheap, but one of those get what you pay for scenarios. Okay. So now let's go in and let me adjust this so you can see slightly better with the camera here. And I'm just going to hit start and nothing happens. So let's just go in. By the way, this is also normal behavior. I just want to walk through. And now you see nothing in this directory. And that's because, once again, this Neptune prototype is a, well, not, you know, the Neptune itself with this board in it is a 32X and Genesis combined. So both of these ROM carts are detecting the 32X and thinking, okay, it can't run because you can't load Sega CD games that way. However, the MSD EXP is something that plugs into the side expansion slot and allows games to run from there. So let's try it with the Mega SD. And let's see what we get. Everything's plugged in. Now, there is one, I don't know if you want to call it bug, but I forgot about it the first time I tried the side adapter. You got to tap reset before loading. That's it. I think it's just because of the way the bus is routed, but not a big deal at all. So now the last game Afterburner 2 is now an option, which is great. That means this is all working. And Sega CD BIOS looks good. Sega logo looks good. Let's keep going and see if the game still works okay. So far. Turn down the volume. The music's great, but I don't want everybody's stream to get all loud and annoying. Yay, Sega CD loading times. They're drastically improved by the ROM carts, but still annoying. I don't see any visual on-screen glitches. I see the same vertical-esque jail bars, which are not bad at all. They're, you know, about what you get with analog video. All right, so that's cool. Let's try another game, though. Let's see what happens when I hold reset down. Does it go back to the menu? Oh, that's kind of cool. All right. Let's just try a different game. And then Crix originally said that the Mega EverDrive Pro won't work through the side adapter, but you know, let's just try afterwards, and we'll go from the, we'll try Sega CD 32X games as well to see how those work. So when I first plugged this in, what, 20 minutes ago, to just do a to do the thumbnail for this stream, I got some weirdness with Night Trap. So let's see what happens. Hey, T, what's up, man? Good to see you. I know you've been super busy lately. Overlord, the GF1 Neptune, if you're talking about the GamesCare Neptune, they're working on it, and it's real, and they are not taking pre-orders. They are waiting till it's done because of all the negativity of the other one. See all the distortion, by the way? That should be coming. We'll give more information. But the other one, I don't know. I still think it might be fake. So you see all this crazy stuff going on screen? Let's try it out on the Nomad again to see if it was the ROM that I had or to see if that's an issue. Now, if I have the guts to do it, there's also a region fix that we could do on the Neptune. I'll show that last because there's a good chance I might screw that up. All right. Last game loaded. I'll try to get this at an angle. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, no distortion. So there's definitely something going on, but let's try another FMV game just to see. It's just a coincidence that I happen to have this Nomad that I'm borrowing at the same time, as that is really making this so much easier to troubleshoot. So another shout out to Oleg for working with me on this. All right. Hey, Cosam, how you doing it? How you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna, can I tell if all audio channels are present? I will absolutely do that once I kind of determine what's going on, and I might have to do the region fix to get it to work properly. And my eyesight has really gone in the past year, so I don't know if I could pull it off. If I break it, I have friends that could fix it, but we'll see. So let's do 32X CD games just to see what happens. In fact, let's do Night Trap 32X just to see. I mean, if you had one of these, this would be the version to play because you get like a tiny bit more screen resolution. Funny enough, I'm not getting any distortion, but 32X CD games do work. Let's see if I can get one with a video so we could kind of see how that works. They should be rolling up now, right? Same terrible looking Sega CD graphics, but there's no crazy things going on. It looks just as bad as it should. Let's put it that way. Nothing. Okay. All right, so I think that's cool at 32X CD games. I'll definitely try another one, and that Night Trap thing could have been a glitch. We'll kind of figure this out. To get the full 240p 50 image on some games, does it have to be a PAL console, or can it be a region modded Japanese one? I'm pretty sure it could be a region modded one, but you'd have to do the full mod with the different crystal as well. What's up, Rumblemans? Yeah, it's not easy at all. Overlord, the ROM card is FPGA. This Neptune is not. This is all original hardware. Check out the link in the description for more info and for the fix. All right, so let's try another 32X CD game. And actually, I also forgot if this loads ROMs from the side thing. So let's just try that, because that's only going to take a second. No. Well, this is weird. Do I not have... Huh? Let me put this back in the top slot, just real quick. I forgot I haven't had a Mega SD in years, so I kind of forgot the functionality. All right, so loading from the top slot, obviously this works. Interesting. So not all games, I think it must be a ROM size limitation. No, maybe they just don't work at all. All right, well, that's kind of a bummer. Then you can't just leave the Mega SD plugged into the side or anything like that. But let's do another one. Let's do Corpse Killer US and just see what happens here. For the record, 32X CD games, I haven't found one that I ever would say, like, oh, you need to own just to play this game. Whereas, like, even weird consoles have that, but I don't know about this one. Yeah, this is all seems to be working just fine. No distortion, no weirdness. Let's try another Sega CD game with FMVs to see. Because if it's just Night Trap, then I'm not so worried, but I still want to see the before and afters and all that stuff. Oh, do we have a freeze here? Or is it just loading? No, it was just loading. Don't forget, just because it's a ROM card doesn't mean there's still some type of things that you have to wait for. Oh, it says drive error, retrying, please wait. So that could be a whole bunch of different things. Oh, no, it's working. I was just impatient. You know, I've had a couple Jamaican friends growing up, and I'm pretty sure that's a fake accent. Does anybody know if that actor is actually Jamaican? Not that it matters, but... Alright, so let's go back. It does play 32X CD games, totally fine. Let's go back to Sega CD, and let's find another FMV to see if it freaks out then. Tomcat Alley, let's see what happens. So far, so good. Alright, it's still a little glitchy. Okay, so this could be the region thing. So I guess I am going to have to try to do the fix to see if that does it. But what I do want to do, just for the heck of it, let's plug in the Mega EverDrive Pro and see if we get any boot at all. No, that's kind of what I expected. Crix had originally said there was this would not work at all in any configuration, but I just, you know, it's here. It's not going to hurt anything. Why not give it a try? Let me just demonstrate the region thing. Actually, let me do this two ways. Tools. All right, so if you can see, let me try to zoom for you all. Do you see how that's kind of twitching right there? How it says it's going between Mega Drive and Genesis. That's the fix that we're going to try to implement in a minute. But I also just want to see if I can get the latest version of the Sega CD test suite on here real quick. And before we do the fix, see if the Sega CD test suite kind of freaks out as well, because that's what we'd be using to test the audio. And when I did the last live stream, I didn't have access to any of this stuff, so I couldn't to access to the Mega SD, so I couldn't even access Sega CD stuff. I also forgot that the Terra Onion crew must have tiny little fingers, because there's only one way to get the micro SD card out. Ugh, come on. Alec, they don't make them anymore. They did one small run of production, and that was it. I don't understand why. I don't understand why a lot when it comes to Terra Onion, but I also don't understand why they wouldn't have just made this as a companion product so that anybody who buys it would always have the option. But, you know, you'll have to ask them. Doom CD 32X Fusion. If somebody could message me a link to it on Discord or something, I could download it. But the last time I tried, I think I got the wrong files or something like that. There's more than 3 JD4, but I don't think there are 3 that are good. Arcade Ages, what's up? No, Todd made the case. Wasn't it Mobius that made the adapter or something like that? Not that it matters. They're both, you know, it's a good product. 240p test suite. All right, there is a new version for this, newer version for the Sega CD than I had. So that's, I'm glad I got the, glad I got it. All right, so we'll go to. Alec, so Alec says, does anyone know the technical reason why the Mega SD or Mega EverDrive Pro won't work through 32X? I think it's because both are using the same bus, but I forgot. It's been years since I did that video, both the videos on it. So if anybody wouldn't mind chiming in here, I'd really appreciate that. And I'm just loading up the newer version here.
I
actually forgot how I forgot how I was supposed to do this because you have to have different subfolders. So let me pull this out and see what I did over here and copy that over. Should have done this before the stream, but I totally forgot. So thanks to Cosam for reminding me. Oh, I think I just dumped it all in. Well, let's see what I could do. Ah, my ears? Did I do something? Did I lean in too close to the mic or something? Sorry. Hey, Ariel. USA. All right, I think I did this right. We'll find out in like 10 seconds. Oh, well, I mean, no, Elliot, you're totally right about that. I shouldn't be making mouth noises into the mic, and I find myself sometimes, like when I listen back to the podcast that I do, just to make sure that, you know, the audio is working, if between sections I'm like taking a deep breath or like I'll take a sip of water and I'll still be swallowing and it comes out on mic, it drives me crazy. So I try to do like a crossfade to get it out of there. But I think one of the things that I always try to very politely remind people about these videos that I do is if I try to make them perfect, there'd be one video a month. So unfortunately, while I do my best, there's always going to be stuff like that. And just a polite reminder that if you ever jump on stream and you hear me peeing, I'm not. I'm actually just washing my hands. I always say that every time too, just in case. All right, so we have real fake comics or porn. Hey, Brand, yeah, I like it too. All right, so the Sega CD test suite is working. It is still doing the region thing, so this will be a great way to test for after. And let's just, this is going to be loud, so I will turn this off immediately. Okay, that does work. I am just curious though, before we do the region fix, will the Japanese and European versions of the Sega CD test suite work? And then I'll just put on my big boy pants and try to do this without breaking it. And Cruz, if you're watching, you know it's coming your way if I do, so I'm sorry. Okay, Japanese, loading fine. Same thing, good, all right. And let's just be thorough and do the European one, and then I will see if I can do this fix. I'm going to have probably 3 different sets of glasses, a magnifying glass, and a lot of whining. Sorry in advance. All right. Just for the record, not whining because I have to do the fix, whining because my eyesight, my nearsighted vision went. This distance here, like just past arms, still totally fine. Pass all the tests just as, good as I used to. And if any of you have suffered through previous live streams from a couple years ago, you'll realize when I actually figured it out was when I destroyed 2 motherboards. 2. Because I couldn't see the pins. Didn't know I couldn't see the pins. All right, European version works too. So I think I got to just do it. So let me grab got my soft and squishy so I don't hurt the case. Somebody lost it in the comments the other day because they saw the video where I stacked the Genesis on top of each other. And they're like, I don't want to watch this channel. This guy obviously doesn't care about his consoles. I couldn't stop laughing. I just responded like, you should probably check out the rest of my videos. I don't think you think the right thing about this. The follow-up to mouth noises would be called body noises. That's funny. I could never armpit fart. That's one of those things where just so many other people in my elementary school put their hand in their armpit, make it fart. I never had that talent. I also couldn't skip rocks until last year. Don't know where that came from. Is this a different sized screw? Maybe just a really stripped screw? Let's find out. No, they're all the same. I wonder why my screwdriver wouldn't catch. Okay. Lovely top off shots. Ooh, here we go. And I don't even need to remove the motherboard to do this because I think it's all right here, maybe. But let me grab. Okay, here comes old man Bob. Here is the $1 readers that I got from the pharmacy, and here is the $3 readers, which are about 4 times thicker for when I look really close at stuff. Let me put this here. So let me get my face on camera so I could just embarrass myself publicly. Yeah, this is what I got to do in order to see circuit boards now. 2 years ago, I would not need glasses at all, not even a little. So I'm pretty sure that's it right here, and I think the trouble I'm going to have is that there's the cartridge slot. But let me reference the fix, which is in the description. Oh wow, my beard got gray, huh? It's 100% Voltar's fault. That's not mine. I blame Voltar for all of that. Rumbleman's no white gloves. Nah, I keep clean hands and I wipe it down afterwards. All right, so the 5660 chip. No, it wasn't that one. Okay. But that does say IC6. Hold on, let me double check here. All right, it is IC6. Pin 81. But this chip says 315-5708-1. Well, the pins are a little dirty on this, so I gotta clean this up with a little bit of flux. Come on, macro mode, autofocus here for me. No, not gonna do that? Yeah, trying to get everything in view and in focus, but this is going to be one of those tricky ones here. IC6 might be another rev than 56. Yeah, okay, so IC6 is the... but Cosam, it's always the one just above the cartridge slot with the pads underneath it, right? SJF Tech says at least Bob's beard isn't as gray as Retro's is. That's true. That's true. I'm still much prettier than he is. Where's my IPA? Oh, I didn't fall behind, did it? Oh, do I have just a bottle of alcohol wasting away underneath something over here? Oh, no, it's hidden behind the speaker. Aha. All right, so I'm going to clean up some of the excess flux, which, you know, if you want to see a very pretty view of that, go watch any of Tito's videos. I'm just going to do it half on camera. And now I have to figure out which pin that is. So what I like to normally do is count it twice with a dental pick. And then after I'm done, I'll mark it with like a pen or something, or I'll even mark it like on a picture of it. And in fact, that's what I'm going to do. That way you all can see exactly what I'm looking at without fumbling around with... He says, have you got this move down yet? Have you got the... You're looking like you're going to look around it? You got that down yet? Because that's my life now. I will load this up so you all can see it, and then I'm just going to use MS Paint to mark off the proper one. Okay, so that is the chip. As you can see on the top of the chip, it says IC6, and the rightmost pad on the EXT pins, or pads on the bottom, should be ground. So I just got to count out and find which one the correct pin is. So I'm going to do that in MS Paint, because that's the kind of fancy guy that I am, and then I will put that on screen as well. Open with Paint. In referencing Cosam's very awesome official Sega service bulletin, it is pin 81 going to pin 9. Well, pin 9 is obviously super easy, so we'll have to go from there. Okay, zooming in. Just give me a second here. I'm being extra careful. So, pin 81. So 53, 4. Now also, just to let you know, I'll show you this in a second, but the little extra markers are for the 10s. So I'm going to draw a little arrow here. You'll see it in 1 minute. So 53, and that's what, 10, 90, 100, 104. Okay. So that should be it. Let me switch this picture over and explain what the heck I was just rambling about. Okay, so if you see the arrow that I did next to EXT pin 1, that shows the 10 markers. So the leftmost pin is 53, but then you have that little white dot that marks 60, 70, and 80, and right next to that is 1. So this is actually a little easier, because not only is it right next to that marker, it's directly above EXT pin 1. So this will be very easy to locate compared to what it would be if it was just a random pin without the 10 markers in the EXT. And then obviously the rightmost is as easy as it gets. So go back to this view. Shane, this is a couple of things. This was first just to see how Sega CD works, because it won't work through the top cartridge port for the same reasons that it just won't work if you have a real Sega CD or a real 32X plugged in. Because I think it's because the bus is shared. I forgot. It's been 5-6 years or something. But you know, valid reasons why it wouldn't work. So then I wanted to test the side adapter, which did work for the Mega SD. However, it didn't for the Mega EverDrive Pro, which Crix said it wouldn't work anyway. Just wanted to see. And then everything worked, but we did get some FMV glitches in just plain old Sega CD games, not 32X CD. So I figured I would do the region fix and then go back to that and see what we got to see if that fixed some of the glitches. And if not, we could kind of go from here, because I love this project. I think every fan of this stuff loves it, and while only 1% of us would buy it or take the time to do it, I think everybody understands what this signifies. This is a piece of our childhood or video game history, if you're not an old person like me, that would have been interesting to see that we never got until now, thanks to Cosam. All right, so I got solder, I got some paste, flux and flux remover, Cosam flux, and let me grab all the different wire I'm going to need as well. Which, this giant monitor is not making any. Here we go. All right. So if this was Cruz or Voltar or somebody who actually, or Tito, this would probably have already been done by now. But I don't have their skills. And the one thing that I do have is years of experience that tell me you do this stuff slowly and carefully. Especially on a live stream where everybody's watching and you can make a total ass of yourself. So that's what we're going to do right now, is a very slow and calculated way of trying to add this single wire so I can do it right. And I think while I stopped using Kynar for all the right reasons, I actually think this is the perfect scenario for Kynar, because you just need it to work. You don't need to go too crazy with it. Let me see if I could find some Kynar somewhere. For anybody that doesn't do modding, Kynar is really just referring to really, really thin wire, which I think I have right here, in fact. Oh, that would be nice. Get my little snips too. All right. Back on with my my spectacles. So I have some Kynar, single-stranded, very ultra-thin wire. I got enough of it so if I mess up, I could do it again. I'm gonna have to trim that side down, and then I have to tin it. But oh, what am I, back in New York City again? Whoop whoop. To hold something this fine in place, you really need something like Voltar's masturbation tweezers. Otherwise, anything's going to be too big. And I'm going to set my iron to 325C. Somebody, please jump in here. Oh wait, I got the wrong pin on it. But please tell me if that's too hot for this, because I don't want to pull up the legs, but I also need it to get hot quick. I can't just hold my iron on there, because even at lower temperatures that might work. Oh, thank you very much for chiming in on Cosam and confirming I'm not about to solder to the wrong pin. That would have been terrible. I appreciate it. All right, I got a much finer tip here. Oh, Woodsy Wisdom. Well, you will be able to find out somewhat shortly if this works. Church, the Brazilian Neptune is the one I was talking about before that's legit. That one is real. And to prove, unfortunately, as a result of the other one that probably isn't real, the team who's making it is trying to not take any pre-orders at all, just as proof of like, hey, we're not taking your money and running. This is a real product. So that's delaying things, though. Like, I don't want to speak for them, but that's obviously not making things easier on them. But it was the right thing to do. So as soon as there's more solid info, you can guarantee that we'll be talking about it. All right, I got that, I got that. Before I jump in and possibly ruin this, let me just check the chat. Anthony, it's one step farther. Cosam redesigned the board so that you remove the chips from a Genesis and a 32X and put it on a brand new motherboard with all new components other than that. Okay, says. What a dick. All right, let's, all right, I'm gonna keep switching glasses around depending on how close I am to my face, but I'm gonna start by just tinning the end of this wire. There should be enough residual tin on those pins, but we'll find out in a second. You know, one thing I used to do a lot that I don't do as much anymore, but I think I'm going to have to do it here because this is such a small wire going to such a small pin, is I actually would dip the end of the wire into the paste flux and solder to it that way. It's a little messier and it does not look good on camera after you're done because you still got that goop that you got to clean up. But I think I am long past the days of trying to make things super pretty. I think I'm always just trying to make it work. All right. So I'm going to dip the wire right in the flux paste. That seemed to work much better. So I'm going to do a dab of flux over here. Yep. All right. Now I'm going to, I don't think there's any way I could do this on camera without just getting my giant head in the way. So we're just going to have to do it that way. If Cruz were here, he'd just be like, take your time, don't rush, just move it into position, don't tack it down unless you're ready. If Voltar were here, he'd just tell me to go F a horse. So we're not going to take his advice this time. Actually, I think I may have bent this in place in like a weird hook shape that I might not even need the tweezers. So let me try that first. Oh boy, I may have gotten it. Also, for the people that get annoyed by mouth noises, that's something I've always done that I didn't even realize I did, is when you touch your iron to something, I exhale to blow the smoke away, so I'm not just inhaling cancer directly to my brain. But I think I got it. So I am going to just give it a minute to cool, and then I'm going to try to add the other side to the EXT pin, which I could just tin up right now to make it easier. Okay, one down. All right, that did end up coming off, but I'm all right with it because that means we did end up getting some solder and some flux everywhere that we need it. So I'm just going to cut this end, strip it, and get it ready to plant down the other side. That was a happy fail because none of the pins came up, nothing broke. I know I could aim it at that pin. Let me just grab. SGF Tech, so I agree and disagree. So I agree in that, yeah, it would be really much better if we could just find new old stock of all of these chips and not have to sacrifice existing. Except in the case of the 32X, so many of them are broken because of the shoddy build quality from Sega. If you've ever opened up a 32X, there's just wires soldered everywhere, and I mean, it is weird that they made that. I mean, if you've seen Sega products, it's not weird, but to see that versus something that people from the community build today, it's nothing but bodge wires and weird stuff on it. So it's obvious why those things didn't stand the test of time, but I don't like ruining original stuff. So this is one of those projects that if you happen to have a 32X that's broken up, that doesn't work right, but you still have the original chips on them, the chances are those chips are fine. So this is actually a way to restore that. And that's the one that I bought for this one, was exactly that. It was some one that didn't work anymore. And I had Tito do it for the video. It's actually my friend's. My friend had Tito do it for the video. And it worked perfectly, even though the 32X itself didn't work beforehand. So this is actually, in many ways, going to help 32Xs, but then you still need to sacrifice a Genesis. But, you know, you also get a Genesis out of it. And you don't have to put it in this amazing case. You could totally just put it in a back into a Genesis 2 if you wanted. This Kynar wire is really hard to strip. Oh, got it. Sweet. So maybe I do the opposite. Are there any good modders on here? Not just me fumbling through. Would you start by putting it on the pad itself, and then with you know, like a much greater amount of solder on it, and then use tweezers to move it over to get the pin? Is that how you would do it? All right, well, let me see what I could do. So I'll go back to tinning this side. Dip it in the flux paste. All right. Oh, what am I doing? I gotta switch to the extra blind glasses when I go in that close. All right, extra blind glasses. Damn, I dropped it. Nope. Yeah, I feel like it was definitely smarter to do the EXT port first. Or the EXT pin. I don't know why I keep saying port. Huh. I don't know if it's possible this pin is too thin to be making good connection here. Maybe I should have had a different type. Yeah. Add some flux to it again as well. I might have to switch tips. I'm not really getting a good connection on this at all. All right, well, what other tips I got here? Noni, is this real life? What do you mean? I don't get it. If you're gonna make fun of me, make it clear. All right, let's see what other pins. So this, maybe this one? Because it's, yeah, let me try this instead. It's got slightly flatter on the side. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna try this one. I usually use this giant one right here, but that's just definitely too big for this. Okay. Wait for that to come up to temp. I'll try again. It's probably too much, but I'm going to put another tiny dab of flux on here. Huh. Okay. All right, let me dig in there. Nope, it's stuck and then it backed right out. So I guess let me add a tiny bit of solder to the tip and try that one more time, but this is coming along a heck of a lot better than the last time. So a little bit of solder to the tip. Plenty of flux on here. All right, I put too much. However, this is one of those don't panic moments that all of my friends have taught me over the years. Just add a little more flux, and you just paint the excess off the chips, cleaning your tip each time. You always want to be extra cautious though, because some of these chips are very forgiving. Or if you bridge a pin, turn it on, nothing happens, you turn it back on and you clean it up, it'll work. But some aren't. Some of you, if you bridge a pin, you're dead, that's it. You've just ruined all of the work. And I think to take it one step further, I'm going to take a picture and let you all zoom in with me in case I find stuff that I shouldn't. All right, I think I need a little bit of solder braid here. I think I moved most of the solder around so it's all perfect, except there's just one little glob. Ooh, I think I may have done a good job here. Okay, Picture time. I'll check the chat, and we can all make fun of me if I messed up. Now remember, this has not been cleaned. So you're going to see a lot of goopy flux, and it's not going to look... it's not a good enough picture. You know, I think the flux is going to make it impossible to see what's flux and what's a mistake. So let me clean that up real quick. Carefully. Very carefully. A couple seconds to dry. Let me so let me just go through while this is kind of drying. Arcade ages, Bob's glasses, making thirsty for a Coke. Ha ha ha. Is that one of the boards that was pre-populated? No, this one came from Cosam that went to Tito. Dylan says Tito always makes soldering look easy. This is much more like my experience. Yeah, but Tito's always 100% honest about how it's never that easy to actually do it. He just edits it out so, you know, it looks like he did it in one try. He's always very honest about that. Yeah, working 32Xs are around 300 now, but or more, but broken ones are a lot cheaper. Thor, I'm doing the opposite. I'm breathing out to blow that away. Adam, so this was the one from the Tito video. What's with the applesauce? That is, if you're talking about this, that is paste flux. And if you're talking about this, it's solder braid cleaner. Okay. Oh, Noni, that's funny. Noni wondered if this was real life because they've never seen a Neptune before. So, like, is this real life? Are we looking at the Neptune? I take it back. That was funny. Unlikely Toad, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. I always appreciate kind words, especially during times where some people are not very kind. And no, I'm not talking about Voltar. I love that dude. All right. Another terrible picture. Maybe... Wait, I have an idea. And this picture isn't just for the chat. This is also going to be for me, because even with glasses, even with a microscope, it's sometimes much easier to just zoom in. Okay. I mean, it's still ugly with flux, but I think... because remember, right, this is the purpose of this stream is to test the fix. It's not to make something beautiful as a guide. So I will add that here, and we will figure out if I did a bad job or not. Hey, thank you very much, Ariel. I really appreciate the super chat. All right, let me, I'm going to zoom in with paint and then re-show this picture here. Re-show the picture? Oh, that's not a word. All right, as I'm zooming in, which I'll do that in a second, I see the rubber from the Kynor wire is kind of melted and going all over the place, which is fine. It's ugly. Voltar would never do it that way, but it's fine. Also, the excess solder closest to pin 9 on the EXT pad, because it's the last pin in a row, I was totally okay having a little off-centered. The only thing I see might be an issue is if you look at the number 9, straight above that, there might be a solder bridge there. So I'm going to clean up the excess flux, and I'm also going to try to scrape this out and see what happens. And take one more picture, because I don't want to ruin this. I know I'm being overly cautious here, but this is a lot of great work. Steffi Starlight, thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Just curious, does the Neptune have the circuitry to maintain both 32X and Master System games? Yes, I showed that in the last stream, and I will happily show that again, assuming I don't break this one. Travis, while I love teasing my friend, the real reason I said it like that is because Voltar and Tito in their videos, they don't just do it right. They make sure they do it right, and that if somebody else comes around at some point in the future, you could just look at it and know that they did it right, which is important. And if you're paying a modder to do that, you should expect nothing less. However, if you're doing this for yourself, or in my case, I'm just doing this to test the fix and doing this for my friend, it's not worth obsessing over looks unless you're talking about things like solder joints and, you know, and bridges and stuff like that. So yeah, while I'm kidding and kind of being a dick about it too, I'm also being very serious about what the difference is between when you want something to look nice and when it's just about looking nice. Good question though. Okay, I gotta find my little dental pick tool. I know what's in here. All right. Woody's Wisdom, a toothbrush is good at getting in there. Yes, I also have an electronics brush that's essentially the same thing, except this is a pretty sensitive solder. Like it's, how can I describe it? Like the Kynar wire is so thin that I don't want a chance brushing it. I scrape around it like this, and I will lift the wire up. I'm not lifting the pin up, I'm lifting the wire up, so that even though, yeah, I'm going to take two pictures. I'm not even going to explain it. I'm going to show you with the pictures. Okay, snap two more. I think I may have gotten it this time. We'll find out in a second. All right, so I'm going to do two shots. One, but also one like this. Maybe one from the other angle too. All right, let's see if any of those demonstrate what I'm trying to show. Cosam, thank you so much. Cosam said it looks like the worst I could do here is short pin 81 to 80, or having the wire touch pad 1 of the EXT. So all pins up to 104 are controller related, so it's no huge deal if the bridges are there. It's not like I'm going to just blow out this entire thing. Thank you. All right, so that looks good. I mean, it doesn't look pretty, but I think this is exactly what we were going for here. I think this is worth doing. All right, and I'm going to see if the last pick came through or not. No, that's terrible. Let's try another one just to show what I mean by the other side of things here. All right, so while it's very blurry, you can see that the bodge wire that I just put in is not touching the motherboard. It's only touching the pin, and then I bent it upwards. I don't think it would short the pad anyway, but that's just to show you that I'm not, shorting the pins across something. So let's power it on and go from there. Okay. Well, I'm going to power it on two different ways. First, I'm just going to power it on and see if we get the TMSS screen, and then I'll put a cartridge in it and go from there. Maybe you don't get the TMSS. That's fine. I'll throw in the EverDrive Pro. Okay. Oh, wait, you can't see it. Haha, sorry. Okay, SD. Yeah, that would help. That would certainly help. All right, 240p test suite. No glitching. So it worked. I didn't screw this thing up. Cosam, thank you very, very, very much for the help and the service bulletin. Thank you everybody in the chat for your support. This was a little stressful because my eyesight's shot. Nearsighted is shot. And hardware tools. Is there a controller test? A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Mode, start, up, left, down, right. So let me try controller 2, and if it still works, then I think we're good to go. Up, down, left, right, start, mode, A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Cosam, if you're still watching, please let me know if there's anything else I should test before buttoning it up, or if we just proved that I didn't screw this entire thing up. I'm just going to clean up real quick and give you a chance to respond in the chat. Paste here, flux pen. Yeah, Church, except when you've been doing this too long, the feeling that you get when the console works is immediately replaced by how long is it going to work? What else did I screw up? What could I have done? Yep, Cosam, I'm not sure if you saw, but while I was doing this, I was off camera, so you couldn't have seen. I swapped it back and forth between controller ports, so I actually did try both controllers, so we are good to go. I'm going to put this stuff away, and I'm going to go wash my hands to get the flux off of it before I start touching the controllers and stuff like that again. And then I'm going to turn this sucker on or bolt it back together and continue testing. And we'll test all consoles and see what happens. And that's right, all consoles, because this sucker supports multiple different ways of launching games. Master System, Genesis, 32X, Sega CD, and 32X CD. there. I don't need all 25 pairs of glasses anymore. The other reason I clean up before like really bolting everything back together isn't just OCD and isn't just limited space to work. It's also just that even though I did wipe off all of the flux, or as much of the flux as reasonably possible, and the isopropyl, I still just feel better when I give it that extra couple of minutes, just to be like, okay, there's really no chance of any liquid or wetness coming in to mess this up. It's absolutely being overly cautious, but I'm okay with that. I'm 100% okay with it. Stuck in the 90s, there should be a few people. However, it's worth it if you wait till the next pre-populated motherboards are bought, because you don't have to sit there and add every single component. And you don't have to buy all the components, you know, by going through the bill of materials. It's just, if you enjoy doing stuff like that, cool. But if you just want to save yourself a lot of time, then just wait till the pre-populated ones come back. All right, I am cleaned up. Let me wash my hands. For anybody just joining the stream, I'm going to talk through this so nobody joins the stream and thinks I left my mic on and I'm peeing or something, which it's going to happen. Between now and never, it's definitely going to happen, but that's not what's happening right now. I'm just getting all the flux off. All right. Oop. I just came back and the first thing I saw was, guys, he's peeing. Okay, I'm gonna put this top back on. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do the MD Fourier testing on this stream, because, actually no I won't, because I'm going to have to remove the sound device that I'm using to talk through this microphone. But as soon as the stream is over, I will absolutely just do that real quick, and I will send the files to T and Artemio and have them do a full analysis of making sure all the channels are there and everything's working properly. And I emailed Crix to see if there was anything we could do to get the Mega EverDrive Pro working on it, and I haven't heard back from him, which he turned off all DMs on social media, and I emailed an old email address. So if anybody's friends with him, you might want to just reach out and see. But I don't like bothering him. Guy's always been nice to me, so. All right, flip this sucker back over. Controller back in. I'm going to plug the Mega SD back in. All right, so the first thing we're going to try is the thing that power button sticks. 3D printed buttons, what do you expect? All right, and then we tap the reset button. So let's go back to Sega CD and Night Trap and see if that fixes it. I still see some glitching. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. well, let me try Tomcat Alley again just to see. Oh yeah, reset. Actually, I'm just curious, will Master System games run? No, not through the side thing. Okay, Sega CD, Tomcat Alley. Church, it'll work, just not for Sega CD games because it's the same limitation of having an actual 32X plugged into a Genesis. We're getting a little twitchy on here too. Yeah, I'm seeing some artifacts around here.
Altitude is Angels 1.
Shadow 5, Shadow 3, over.
So I don't have an original Sega CD anymore, so I can't test to see if that would be reproducible. So Cosam, if you're listening, you might have to test those games out just to see. Woody's Wisdom, do you have the same... Wait, so... Hold on a second. Woody's Wisdom says those are MSD EXP glitches, not a glitch with the Neptune. Wow, Woody, I am really, really glad you're here. Okay, Kosam, if you're here, I hope you heard that. If not, I'll message you afterwards. But that's really important information. So that happened on yours? Do I have another Genesis here somewhere? I have to have at least one, right? I think I have a Genesis 1 right here. Let me try this. Let's see if that happens with that as well. Now I gotta get another power supply, and the reset button has to work, otherwise I can't power it up, but okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I even have the red cover on this one. I gotta grab a different power supply. I could put this back now. Oh boy, where's my Genesis one? All right, here it is. Okay. Hey, Zofar, how's it going? Good to see you, man. We are deep nerding out for this one. Now we're trying to figure out if FMV glitch that I found is because of the side adapter of the ROM cart, or if it's something to do with the Neptune, which is going to be really good info to have. Because if it's not because of the Neptune, then that means Cosam is basically done in a good way. All right, power on, reset, that's coming up. And I'm just gonna hit last game, and I'm not gonna touch anything else. I don't know, I don't think I'm seeing it. No. No, I don't think so. However, this could just mean that it's not... So it could still be the MSD EXP side adapter. It could just mean that with different motherboard revisions of the Genesis, you have different issues. So it could be that the chip that I had on mine wasn't working the same. And let me put this back, let me put the profile back to default, just to make sure that nothing else is weird with that. Okay, still looks fine. Might not be as flashy, but whatever. So Sega CD. Oh, no. We'll go back to Night Trap because that happened. That was a lot more, a lot easier to see. Hey Zaxor, I don't have a Model 2 or a 32X anymore. No, there's no glitching. So what we would need to do to finish these tests is figure out if a Model 2 Genesis with the MSD EXP plugged in and the Mega SD have the same glitches. And if that's the case, then it has absolutely nothing to do with Cosam's motherboard whatsoever. It would only be the chip of that console. That might also be helpful for people building Neptunes, because then you might figure out you got to use this exact chip, otherwise you could get glitches with Sega CD games and the MSD EXP. Let's load that up again. I'll put my Genesis back, and I'll wait for the chat if anybody has any issue or any questions or suggestions. Yes, I did the fix for the region goggling. Woody, do you know, so you have a Model 2 Genesis, I'm assuming, correct? And Hi there wants to know when I'm going to make my own RGB cables. Making one good cable is time consuming and tedious, but it's doable. Consistently making good cables over and over and over the course of years for different customers are nearly impossible, which is why so few people do it. But there are new cables coming, so I wouldn't need to.
Commander Sims. Sega Control attack. Scan mission 230. 5 teenage girls have disappeared after spending the night at the old Lakeshore winery house of Mr. and Mrs. Victor Martin.
All right, so Zaxor, let me give you the super quick update here. So we did the region fix, and the glitching happens before and after the fix. Glitching does not happen on the Genesis 1 that you just saw, the Model 1 I mean. So it's looking like it could just be a specific revision of the Model 2's chip, one of the VDPs. Now, if that's the case, then it's not the fault of the Neptune board even in the slightest, but I do want to double check that just in case. And we have somebody here who has that same issue. You have both. Woody, I do not. However, if you're home and you have access to it, would you have a quick moment to just pop the top off and see what chip is in yours? Because let me use MS Paint to cut this so you can see exactly the chip that I have, and if you have the same chip, that's the answer to this. And if you're not home and you don't have time, then that's fine too. I apologize for putting you in that position, but you know, if you happen to be around, your fellow nerds will appreciate it. All right. And Cosam, is this, would this chip be the one? Ah, you can't at the moment, but you are later. All right, let me just put this over here. Yeah, that chip right there is the one I just soldered to, and I'm pretty sure that's the Genesis, one of the main Genesis chips. So I guess if you, if Woody, you know, when you get home, if you could just email me or something, we could figure this out together afterwards. But the numbers on the Sega chips themselves are what we would need to know to make sure that it's not a chip revision or it is a chip revision. Just making an RF cable. Yeah, so that's the problem, Brand, is in order to test this, we would have to have you would have to have the Mega SD ROM cart and the side adapter and the different Genesis revisions. RG Beater said it's a Fujitsu made VDP, so that could be a glitch in the VDP, yeah.
Sega Control attack. Scat mission 230. 5 teenage girls have disappeared after spending the night at the old Lakeshore winery house of Mr. and Mrs. Victor Martin and their children, Jeff and Sarah.
Yeah, that is the Genesis chip. That's what I thought. It's been years since I really dug into this, though, and all these chip model numbers get me confused. 5660 is the most common one. Yep.
Last night, one of our agents got into the house and found some kind of weird security system. Hidden cameras in almost every room and a series of traps. Our agent spliced an override into the security system, allowing you to have control of the
Let
camera
me,
with this remote unit.
I'm just checking the chat and double checking a couple of other things before we move on, but we're almost done here anyway.
Make sure you don't trap someone you should be protecting. One slight problem. The traps are protected with an access code. They won't work unless you enter the right code. Right now, the code is set to blue. You have control of the traps. But anyone inside the house can change that code at any time. So pay close attention to what you're saying.
Woody, pictures would be great. I don't think you would need to make videos. And I'm assuming you could figure out my email address, right, Woody?
This is my attack squad. And this is Kelly, one of my best undercover agents. She'll be arriving with the rest of the girls.
All right.
And the lives of
So,
the other girls in your hands.
I still think everything about this is awesome, and I want to just show one more time. Like, I'll throw up a 32X CD game, but it would be very cool if we could figure out which chips do this and which don't, because that would just make people who build these things, who have a Mega SD, or I guess maybe even an original Sega CD, you could have some issues there, but that would just be a neat thing to know. And I also really want to know if Crix has any suggestions on how to do this, because through the top with a 32X connected on a standard Genesis, no, that's not Crix's problem. But through the Neptune, maybe there's something he could do. Slam, oh wait, I used the wrong disc. Let's try this again. We'll do Supreme Warrior. I'll let the 32X CD thing... Oh, did I just pull the wrong power supply? I did. I just pulled the power supply for the Genesis that I'm using. Oops. No. Here we go. Oh, so RG Beater found something kind of interesting. Maybe that ASIC requires more components on it. So if you use that specific ASIC, that you need to have something different on the board. That's interesting, but if that was the case, why would Woody be having this exact same issue on a completely stock Genesis 2? Now, I'm not RGBer, by no means am I trying to say you're wrong. I appreciate all of the info you're throwing at me, but we're just being nerds here trying to figure out what to do. Oh, thanks, Axel. He said the menu does not work in that address space via the side slot, so it would require a total rewrite of the firmware. Hey, Mobius, how you doing? Have you seen this issue with Genesis 2s and the side adapter? RG Beater said their personal Neptune is using a 5487 and it refuses to pass TMS and Sega CD crashes. If TMS is bypassed, it actually works perfectly though, so they can't run these tests. Cosam, is there a way to have like switchable TMSS so you could turn it on or off or something? That way, if you're like me and you just are booting your Genesis 1,000 times in a row, you could save yourself 2 seconds of time, but also for situations like this. Durf. Well, at least you confirmed that the Neptune, in fact, does need power to work. Okay, so Mobius has seen similar issues with certain VDPs. So I think that this Neptune here is still awesome and still nothing wrong with that. I think, but it'd be interesting to see if we could fix this too. And 32X CD games seem to be working fine. So all 4 games, if you want to play them. So last time on this, when I streamed this, I showed the Mega EverDrive Pro playing Master System games with no problem. I don't actually have, well, I do have a power base converter. I can check that too, but I just want to do this here. Oh, interesting. So the Mega SD won't even allow you to select Master System games because it thinks that the 32X is on. And it doesn't have a way to turn that off. Okay, so let's go back with the Mega EverDrive Pro. With the Mega EverDrive Pro, you just have to options, warnings off, and then you should be able to just play a Master System game. We'll do Afterburner because that's what we've been doing. Wonder if my power base converter fits on this. I have an original, but not the FM or anything like that. So you can see SMS games clearly working here. I gotta say, Kosam, if this was pre-Mister, there would probably be so many tiny little things that I would want changed or messed with just because everybody said it couldn't be done. But because we have the Mister, all the stuff that you can't do on original hardware, you can do on that. So I'm probably going to ask you a bunch more annoying questions, but none of them are important. They're just me being curious. So that won't fit, just like it won't fit on a Genesis 2. And I don't really want to take my original power base converter apart after Cruz just fixed it. And I don't have any of the others here. But if it works with the ROM cart, it's like impossible for it not to work with originals. And I believe Cosam has one of the power base converters as well. So I'm going to turn warnings back on to see what happens with Master System games. So we'll go Castle Illusion. This ROM conflicts with the 32X add-on. Please try again without the 32X add-on. So all you do is just turn off warnings. There you go. So thank you to Crix for building that in. Yeah, I speak the English good. Yeah, totally fine. So is there anything else somebody wants me to check with this? I do actually have to get this Neptune to my friend who paid for it a long time ago at some point. I'd love to keep it here forever for testing. My friend is amazingly patient and also knows that like I'm actually using it for important stuff. I'm not just messing around. Doom Resurrection isn't... Oh, it is. So this isn't the 3D or the CD version. This is the one from 2013, but that seems to work. Oh, that's right, it has widescreen. I forgot about this. That's pretty funny. Well, that works. So I'll check the chat and see if anybody wants me to test anything else, but I think we have a ton of info about the Neptune now, or Cosam's Neptune. Go back to 32X. I'm going to fire up the original Doom real quick, just for anybody who doesn't understand what the Doom Resurrection is. Quite a difference. Yeah, Vic did an amazing job on the remake. That's always a good one to leave on. So let me go back and check the chat and see what we got. See you later, Chris. I'm almost done anyway. Thanks for coming. That's a little too loud in the background here. All right. Fun fact, the 32X does have issues with real games versus ROM carts, especially on VA2, VA2.3, and VA4 Model 2s. Interesting. Do you mean they work on real games and don't work on ROM carts, or the opposite? Because I had a lot of real games just not work at all on some of my 32Xs. Steffi Starlight, yep, and if there's any specific SMS game you want me to try, let me know. Oh, Steffi's gonna hang out. All right, gonna leave. Well, thank you anyway, and yeah, it definitely works. Oh, test Altered Beast and listen to the audio for clipping. You got it. Okay, I'll do that right now. And then I think that's it, right? I think we're pretty good to go after that. So, yeah, see? Every time we boot, we wait for that TMSS screen. That's very annoying if you're doing testing.
Rise from your grave.
Nope, that worked fine. And we did do MD4A analysis on this last time, and it passed with flying colors. But let me do the master system. No, it all sounds great. I mean, as great as the Master System audio of that game is, but you know. Yeah, I saw Will had the TMSS disabler. I just meant something like if there's pads on this motherboard or something like that. Okay, RG Beater, thank you again now. I thought I was crazy because I had a bunch of real games that weren't working with the 32X through the Genesis 3, but did work with the ROM cart. So that's interesting. But it breaks Sega CD support. Okay. Woody's Wisdom update. They tried 2 Model 2s, unmodified, no glitches in wirehead, triple bypass, and cap replaced Model 2 glitch in wirehead. So you would need to open them up to see which chips. It might not actually. It might be the triple bypass, but it's more likely that they have different chip revisions. Interesting. All right. And Shadow of the Beast. Let me check that one. That's not a 32X game, right? I've never played that game, believe it or not. Nope. Shadow of the Beast. You can probably hear the pouring rain in the background. Sorry, everybody. No. Nope, I didn't hear any clipping. Now, this is also coming through monitor speakers here, but generally speaking, when you hear clipping as the default of the circuitry on the whatever the source is, you'll hear it through any speaker. You don't need good speakers to hear clipping. You would need them to hear a lot of other differences, though. Well, there is no Shadow of the Beast Master System. All right, let me double check. It's an Amiga game, but on Genesis it's known to clip really badly. Yeah, well, Cosam integrated a lot of the triple bypass research into this, so to kind of avoid stuff like that, which I think is awesome. So, I never liked Knuckles Chaotix because I think I didn't actually play it until I started RetroRGB. Whoop, hold on. Sorry. Because I was expecting a 32-bit Sonic game, and it's not that at all, which is fine, but it's not what I thought, so I was kind of let down. Let me load file. And let me get yeah, that was bothering me. Okay. All right, well, let me check the chat and see. You know what, Woody? Let me go and, hold on. Let me get you an exact picture here. All right, Woody, I'm dropping the link right here. All right, you got it open. So basically, if you look at that picture, you see there's a chip that says Sega 315 58 5487. It's like the biggest chip on there. That's the one that you're looking for. I don't think, please everybody chime in here, but I don't think there's any other chip that would matter for this. I think it's just the biggest chip on the board that says Sega on it. The only other chip that size is the Motorola. Thanks, RG Beater. I was kind of curious anyway, too, though. Prime 1, yes. And let me just put this on screen while we wait. That's the chip I have, 5708-01. And the link to Evan's picture shows the 5487. Nothing's going to happen here, but I just wanted to show everybody anyway, because I didn't show that. I showed regular Sega CD, but not 32X CD games. Also, while we're here, I could put the side plate back on. Because this is a 3D print design, this plate doesn't snap in, it bolts in. Yeah. Okay. Oh, wait, I'm gonna... Oh, you know what? That was pretty stupid. I need to take that off so that I could do MD Fourier testing right after this finishes. Well, you know what? If that's the dumbest mistake I made today, I am okay. I guess what might be helpful while we wait is to... let me fire up another Sega CD game that has an FMV, so we could have a couple of them to reference. Because Night Trap was the easiest one to see by far, but let's also check out some others. Mad Dog McCree. So, RG Beater, do you know of one that just never fails on you for the Model 2s? Or are they all some form of glitchy? Alright, Mad Dog McCree. There's another one. Oh, wait, I forgot to move my camera. Ah, alright, 2 stupid mistakes in this one. I'll take it. But that should be pretty obvious, right? Let me get this aimed a little bit better for you here. Let's try another FMVs. Woody, post twice. Post the link and then say posted, because it's possible that YouTube is going to auto-delete the link, but we'll figure this out, don't worry. Huh, RG Beater, it actually does have jail bars. They're just really, really hard to see compared to, like, even like a really good bypassed board. They're still hard to see, and they're certainly not visible on even a BVM CRT. Let's try this corpse killer, see if we get him on this one. Oh, remove the chip pick too. Ah, ah, thanks. Thank you. No, I do not. Woody, can you just email bob@retrorgb.com? Interesting, RG Beater. I wonder if that could be fixed. So that's kind of what I was saying before too, is if this was pre-Mister, I would really obsess about all of these things. But if you're just going for a visually perfect solution, then that's the way to go. Everything's going to be super cheap and compared to what it would be to do something like this. But I still, you know, I would have obsessed about this back then, but it would still be kind of cool if we could figure out how to fix it. Okay. Got it. All right. If my computer shuts down, then you know Woody has sent me a virus. No, I'm kidding. No, Mister does not work with 32X CD yet. Okay, we see the same interference on Woody's over here. I'll throw up Wirehead as well, just to show. Yep. Okay, and Woody's is the, oh, hold on. Media source, replay, pause. Come on, back up. So Woody has the 5700 chip. And let me do Wirehead just to show. Same exact thing that we just saw in Woody's video. Woody, you've saved the stream. Thank you very much. This is excellent info that we need to know. And you probably just saved me hours and hours and hours of tracking down a problem that doesn't exist. Same glitchy. SJF Tech, it's my opinion that the merit that this has over the Mister is that it's just awesome. It's the thing that so many of us were curious about as kids that we don't, that we never got to try, but also at the same time, a lot of 32Xs just have issues. Now, maybe some of it is the exact issue that we're happening right now that RG Beater has been talked about with cartridge compatibility games and stuff, but still, being able to transplant chips from a broken 32X into this and have yourself an amazing console, I think that's a pretty big, a pretty big thing for people who care. If you just want to play it and see what the games are like, then no, the Mister is definitely a better choice. RG Beater, if you're interested in doing a fork of this, one of the things, hey, you know what? I'm not just going to explain, I'm going to show you. If you're going to do that, a TMSS switcher would be awesome, but let me show you the other thing that I think would be incredible is DivizX is working on a couple revisions of the board or of the case, and one of the things I had suggested is making this entire rear panel removable. So it's actually would be a 3-piece design instead of a 2-piece. You have the top, the bottom, and this I/O plate. And I was hoping that somebody would make a basically like the Mr. Multisystem 2, but to fit in a Genesis 2 case, but also have the option to do it in this one. Because if this ever becomes an injection molded case that you could buy for $200 or less, probably $200 I would assume, because you would need the custom buttons and everything. Now it opens up the possibility for a lot of cool different stuff. Actually, it would have to be 4-piece because it would need the side as well. So what I would love to see is this exact same thing, power in a Genesis 2, but also, left and right audio, S-video, and composite. And you'd probably need to add like a THS 7314 or a 7, yeah, probably the 14, so that composite video could be buffered between this and whatever the composite jack is. So if you have something like HD Retrovision or sync on composite cables and go into a scaler and composite go into a CRT, then you wouldn't worry about burning it out. But that's one of the things I would love to see, is just have this whole back panel populated with that S-video pin as well, but still keep the Genesis 2 thing. Also some kind of switch for TMSS, even if the switch was back here too. That way you could leave it off unless you needed it, and possibly even a region switch back here too, because you could do that now with the reset button, but I think those would be killer. And the only other things, because I'm just ridiculous and stupid, if you want to talk about what I would have loved pre-Mister, maybe since this I/O plate has extra space, maybe even a 3.5mm jack, and include the Sega 3D glasses from the Master System port. And if you want to get insane, maybe you could even put the Master System card slot in there, card slot, but I think that's kind of pushing it. But yeah, basically having this to take advantage, because even if the design doesn't change, if you're drilling holes into, or if there's a new 3D print thing here, I mean, this is what Homebrew is designed to do. So like if somebody found an original Neptune shell and drilled holes in it, I would just think they were an asshole. I'm sorry to be blunt, but that's just the truth. But you're making something by the community that's designed to be modified. Yeah, drill a bunch of holes in the back. Get all the features that you want. So that's certainly what I would love to see out of this as for crazy requests, as well as digging in and getting all of the OCD stuff like, fixing some of the traces, getting every chance of jail bars out. I think that would kind of be awesome. So that's my little rant. If you think you could do that, I will promote the hell out of it for you. Hypersonic just tuned in. This is funny. I'm literally putting the chips on my Cosam Neptune board right now. Well, don't forget to do the region fix as well. Once again, the link is in the description already for it. What's up, Drew? Good to see you. The 315, 5078, 88 can be modded to output as video. Yeah, just like the CXAs. Oh, Zaxor literally said that right afterwards. Getting parts over there would be hard. The ASIC's right in that spot. Yeah, I know. And let me just see if I can get jail bars on screen here, and then I'm gonna call it for this stream, because I think we've accomplished absolutely everything, including my typical Bob nitpicking about things nobody other than me and apparently RG Beater care about. So, welcome. You're one of us. SG-1000 and ColecoVision games, no, because it's the same chips that would not work on original Genesis consoles. But you know what? Let's just show it, because why the heck not? I believe the original Safari Hunt. Where, SG-1000? There are no files. So, wait. I must not have populated that then. Yeah, it's not going to work anyway, though. But let me go with Afterburner again. And I'll see if I can zoom in just to show the minor jail bars. I want to be incredibly clear here that when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about true nitpick. Like, this is only something you could see going to a 4K monitor. And I don't even know if you'll be able to see it. Can you see them, sort of? I'll try to switch into capture card mode again, but this might kill the stream, but that's fine. Stream's almost over otherwise. This was a fun one, though. Well, fun for me. If you're not a retro nerd, it's probably useless, but that's okay. Oh, all right, it's working. So let me... advanced settings... Copying. How can we zoom in? I don't. Can we even see it here? I mean, that's how minor. Yeah, I mean, I guess you kind of, sort of can. Maybe. I don't really know. I don't think so. I mean, but that's the nitpicking that we're talking about here. Well, I can't really see him here. I'll try one more thing, but I mean, I think this nitpicking is a compliment to Cosam that he did a great job, because we wouldn't be able to we would be able to see them right away if they were that noticeable. No. Well, RG Beater, reach out if you feel like doing that, and I will happily promote that for you. You know, also, Woody, thank you so much. That was really great info to have, and to have it before the end of the stream was just super cool. So, let's see. You would only see them on 32X colors? All right, I'll try again with 32X, but I can see them with Genesis if I put my face directly up to the, you know, within like a foot of the TV. Afterburner complete. Yeah, RG Beater, that's definitely the best way to get me. And if I don't respond for a day or so, it's not, please don't take it personal. It's just, life's kind of insane. So, scaling, cropping. Yep. Funny, well, let me try phase again. I was just gonna say, while I don't, while I see the jail bars are equally as faint, I do see some horizontal noise though. So that I can see. I don't know if you will be able to see that across YouTube, but the 32X is always a little bit noisy, but it could just be that the original Sega schematic is too. Like you could, I'm watching it on the YouTube stream now, and oh man, it's almost impossible to see here. But there's, so while I guess the best way to put it is I don't have any complaints at all about Cosam's board, but like with everything in life, there's always room to push it a little bit farther. Interesting. You know, for like half a second here on the YouTube video, I could sort of see the jail bars and sort of see the twitching, the horizontal stuff, and then it went away. So I don't know. Yeah, I could try the. Let me try the 240p test suite 32x version and see what we got from there. And then I'll call the stream. So any last questions, fire away right now, because as soon as we do this, I'm probably going to just end it. Oh, and I got to get out of this 20x zoom here. Well, no. I can sort of see it. Yeah, I guess I could sort of see it here. RG Beater, I just messaged you. All right, well, I mean, this was just really cool. Thank you to everybody for for everybody who hung out during all this. This was neat to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we could do next. I guess I'll hold on to this a little bit longer and not send it over to my friend, who I don't think he'll be mad at me for it or anything. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, and let me. And as you can see in the lower right, it just says Genesis 32X. It's not, there's no region thing going on here. All right, well, take care, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. I had a blast with this one. And yeah, Cosam, thank you. I'll message you again, too, because I want to have a chat with you. I think that'd be a lot of fun. People would love to hear from you, so. Oh, Gabriel, you arrived right as I'm saying goodbye, but if you're into the super nerdy hardware stuff, this was a good one. Just fast forward through my tedious soldering part. Yeah, Woody, if you want to just let the number, let me know of the model number that works fine, that's awesome. Really appreciate it.